Today we're taking a look at every single troop in Clash of Clans, not including the super troops today, here in 2022, and giving them the ultimate rank S through D, which troops are best. Good morning, gamers. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a look at every troop in Clash of Clans, not including the super troops today. If you want to see me do a super troop list video in the future, let me know down below. But right now we're taking a look at all the normal troops, ranking them S through D, and determining which troops are the best in Clash of Clans here in 2022. Let's go ahead and go through all of them. Now we're going to be ranking these troops based on the value they can provide to an army, not necessarily how good they are like with 200 archers, for example. We're not going to be thinking about archers like that. We're going to be thinking about archers as in how good they are to help another army. Let's go ahead and start here with the Barbarian. That one's going to be going first. Now, the Barbarian does not get a whole lot of value by himself. In fact, he's basically useless. If you use one Barbarian anywhere, an archer probably would have been better. So Barbarian, you could argue, is D tier, but we're actually gonna put him in the C tier because there is one special thing about the Barbarian that you need to know, and that is the Barbarians that come out from your King ability. When you pop that King ability, the Iron Fist, all those Barbarians can make a huge difference in the middle of the base. Sometimes those Barbarians take out an extra defense. Sometimes they take out an enemy hero. So leveling up your Barbarians is actually pretty important. You want to get them as high level as possible because those Barbarians from your King ability are the same level as the Barbarians in your lab. So Barbarian goes at C tier. Next up, looking at the Baby Dragon here. Baby Dragon, not used a whole lot in its own sort of army, like mass baby dragons, not super effective. And now I'm talking mostly the upper Town Hall level strategies, you know, Town Hall 12, Town Hall 13, Town Hall 14 is what I play the most of at the max level. Nobody uses mass baby dragons. They're usually just used for funneling, and even then, they're not usually the best funnel troop. They might be the most versatile because they can take a lot of damage. But usually sneaky goblins, wizards are way better because they're much more efficient on the troop space capacity. Baby Dragon being 10 troop space capacity. You normally only use these to funnel when you have to in your clan war leagues or your clan wars because of archer towers, because of other things where a wizard just won't get the job done. So we're going to place it in B tier. It's a good funnel troop, but definitely not the best when you have options like sneaky goblins. Next up, we're going to be taking a look at the bowler. There was a time 1 or 2 years ago where the bowler was really decent, and nowadays the super bowler is actually pretty good. And when I do my super troop tier list, you'll be surprised at where the super bowler lands. But the normal bowler, really, it's not that great of a troop. I mean, it's used for funneling sometimes. If you're doing bowler smashes still, it can be an okay army, maybe at Town Hall 11, Town Hall 12, sometimes Town Hall 13, but honestly, you're probably better off with some sort of P.e.k.k.a or Yeti smash. The bowlers, better off using them for funneling. We're gonna stick them in the C tier, but we're actually gonna put them above the Barbarian because he can actually get some really good value on certain bases. Next up, we're taking a look at the Archer. The Archer, again, not really good by herself. However, better than the Barbarian, she can be really good for getting corner buildings where there are no defenses to take her out, and she can really help prevent time fails. So the Archer does have a solid place in the meta, and I'm going to rank her in between the bowler and the Barbarian. And similar to the Barbarian, those archers that spawn from your Archer Queen ability are the same level as the archers in your lab, so make sure you level them up. They're actually somewhat important for that Archer Queen ability. Next up, taking a look at one of my favorite troops in the game. If you've seen a lot of my old videos, you know I absolutely love Queen charge attacks, and the healer is what you need to make those possible. Easily one of the best troops in the game. The healer is so good on Queen charges, Queen walks. I've even seen people do RC charges Warden walks, even on your P.e.k.K.a smashes, your Yeti smashes, you rely so heavily on that healer to switch over to your P.e.k.K.as, over to your Yetis to keep all your troops alive as you crush through the middle of a base. Healers are a staple in Clash of Clans. They are really good, really effective at keeping your troops alive, but there are a lot of moments where those healers will absolutely betray you, do you dirty, and switch off your queen when you really don't want them to. You're doing a queen walk, you drop your king too close to your queen, and all of a sudden the healers, no! They run away. They go to the king, and your attack goes to poop. Rip. So although I really want to put them in S tier, I think healer deserves top spot on the A tier section. Next up, we're going to be looking at another one of my favorites, the balloon, another staple in Clash of Clans. You see balloons used in literally almost every single attack at the upper level of Clash of Clans. Town Hall 12, Town Hall 13, Town Hall 14. Even if you're doing the ground army like Super Bowler Smash or P.e.k.K.a Smash, you're probably going to be bringing 1, 2, 3, 4 balloons to go in front of your healers to test for Seeking Air Mines. I mean, there is so much use out of the balloon. You can use them to test for Seeking Air Mines for your healers. You can use them to test for Seeking Air Mines in front of your battle blimp. You can use them on a Lava Loon attack, which is arguably one of the best attacks in the game, the Lava Loon army. You see all the pros doing Lava Loon in the esports scene at Town Hall 14. In my opinion, the #1 army in the game is Lava Loon, and yes, the balloon will be our first troop in the S tier category. Easily an amazing god tier troop. Next up, taking a look at another one of the troops that lots and lots of people in the Clash community love and adore, the E-Dragon. Honestly, E-Drag spam takes a little bit more skill than a lot of people give it credit for. You have to have perfect spell placement. A lot of people will just spam the E-Dragons. They don't drop the rages in the perfect spot. They don't freeze at the right time, and those E-Drag spams really do fall short. But the people that are good with E-Dragons, well, they make it look easy. And E-Dragon, especially after getting that buff just about a month ago or so, it's deserved a spot on the A tier. Not quite as good as the balloon, and I'm gonna put it behind the healer, but it's still an amazing troop and a solid army choice if you're looking for something easy to learn, at least easy to use. Maybe not super easy to learn, but easy to use. Just try the E-Dragon spam army. Next up, we're looking at another popular troop, even since the lower Town Hall levels, the P.e.k.K.a, a huge tanky unit that does a lot of damage and has a lot of HP. People have been using the P.e.k.K.a for years. She is a very, very popular troop, does a lot of damage, but she doesn't fit well with a lot of attacks. These days, you're either using her for the P.e.k.K.a smash, and that's it. She doesn't really have a lot of different options. You don't use her in different armies, just the P.e.k.K.a smash, maybe the old school go wipe, but that's it. So there's not a whole lot of options to use with her, but still, when you use her and you use her right, especially with healers, woo, those P.e.k.K.a smashes look really good. She goes in the B tier category and even above the baby dragon. The farther to the left, the better in that category. Next up, we're talking about the Yeti, a recent addition, arguably about a year or two old at this point, to Clash of Clans. The Yeti has a special ability similar to the P.e.k.K.a. It can target any building. However, the Yeti mites in their backpack only target defenses, and that makes them really cool. A really strategic troop that you can use to snipe defenses over walls especially. And at the top level of Clash of Clans, there is a very specific use for them, and that is in the Yeti blimp bomb. Now, you put 2 Yetis in your blimp, you send it to a particular section of the base, you take out an Inferno Tower, you take out the Town Hall, you take out the Eagle Artillery, you can even take out enemy heroes if you combine the Yeti bomb with the Rage Bell. They are very effective at the top pro esports scene for very specific situations. So we're gonna put them in the B tier, and we're also gonna put them all the way to the front because they are actually pretty decent in certain situations. Next up, we're looking at the Witch. The Witch has been around in Clash of Clans since Town Hall 9 came out, and it has been a favorite in the community. Lots of people love the witches. Now, towards the upper level of Clash of Clans, Town Hall 13, Town Hall 14, they're actually not quite as effective as they are at the lower Town Hall levels. The Super Witch, on the other hand, is pretty decent, but we're not talking about super troops in this video. The normal witch, she's not super great. Maybe at Town Hall 9, yeah, she's pretty decent, but once you have to start going against multi-target Inferno Towers, scatter shots, the Town Hall that fights back, the witches are really squishy, and sometimes it's hard for them to get the value you want from them. We are going to put her above the Archer and the Barbarian, but she's still going to be a C tier troop. Next up, taking a look at the Wallbreaker. The Wallbreaker has been a staple in Clash of Clans since the dawn of time. You got to open those walls to get where you're going. They used to be a really top tier troop, especially before multi-target Inferno Towers did so much damage to them. They were amazing. They could get you everywhere. But these days, at least at Town Hall 13, Town Hall 14, they are not as good. You really don't see anybody use the normal Wallbreaker, especially when you have a super Wallbreaker. So when the super Wallbreaker exists, the Wallbreaker, it gets a thumbs down from me. Honestly, the first D tier troop on this list. Maybe at Town Hall 9, maybe at Town Hall 10, against bases with single target Inferno Towers, you can get good use out of them. But at the upper levels of Clash of Clans, you're probably going to want a super Wallbreaker, not the normal Wallbreaker. Next up on the list, another offensive troop, the Hog Rider, one of my favorites of all time. The Hog Rider is an awesome troop, and I think it deserves some more love. It used to be so good at Town Hall 9, Town Hall 10. It was super, super strong. And honestly, under the right circumstances, they are still really strong. I'm going to put them in the B tier category. At the lower Town Hall levels, there's a lot of things you can do with them. Town Hall 8, Hogs are amazing. Town Hall 9, Hogs are amazing. Even at Town Hall 10, you can still do the Go Hog strategy, and it's really good. Once you get to Town Hall 11 and above, really the only time you use Hog Riders is when you're doing Queen Charge Hogs or Queen Charge Hybrid. And Queen Charge Hybrid is a really good strategy. Queen Charge Hogs, it's still a little iffy. It can work on a lot of bases. Some pros make it look good, but most people are going to struggle with Queen Charge Hogs, so they're going to end up in the B tier category and close to the end of the B tier category as well. Next up, we're talking about the Miner, and those of you who love Queen Charge Hybrid are probably excited about the Miner. But I have to break it to you, the Miner is going to get placed on this list even lower than the Hog Rider. And that's because in the current meta, at Town Hall 12, Town Hall 13, Town Hall 14, there is literally only one attack strategy where you use the Miner, and that is Queen Charge Hybrid. I mean, Queen Charge Miners really isn't that good once you get above Town Hall 12, because if they get stuck on a Skelly Trap, the Eagle Artillery just bangs on those Miners. They can die so quickly without the Hogs, and so the only time Miners are good are when you have the Miners and the Hogs working together in unison, and they have that synergy pushing through a base together, and defenses can't keep up. They don't know which ones to shoot, and the Miners end up lasting a lot longer. When you use Miners by themselves above Town Hall 12, they just don't work that good. They can work good at Town Hall 10, at Town Hall 11, I admit. That's why they're not going to be in the D tier. But once you get past Town Hall 12, they're just really only good in one army, and that's the Queen Charge Hybrid. Next up on this list, another big offensive unit, another fan favorite, the Dragon. It's a really good troop. It's been around since Town Hall 7. Everybody loves the Dragon. Should it be S tier? Should it be A tier? Should it be B tier? Honestly, after the last buff it got, like half a year ago, the Dragon is so strong, even at the upper levels of Clash of Clans, Town Hall 13, Town Hall 14. That thing is tanky. That thing does a lot of damage. It can kill everything. I mean, Dragons are amazing. And honestly, in the current meta, they are even better than the Electro Dragon. You have Queen Charge Dragons. You have Hydra. You have Queen Charge Hydra. I mean, there are so many ways to use Dragons in the current meta. Air spam is so dominant right now at Town Hall 13, Town Hall 14. They are an A tier troop. Two more offensive units before we get to the more support units. We're going to be talking about the Valkyrie. Oh, the poor Valkyrie. Jeez, they've been trying to buff her for years. They always add more damage, add more HP, and sometimes she bounces between C, maybe B. No, she does not deserve to be B tier. Honestly, I would like to put her in D tier. Some of you guys might argue that Valkyrie's really good at Town Hall 8, Town Hall 9, maybe Town Hall 10, but once you get above that, there's almost no use for Valkyrie. I'll put her above the Wallbreaker because there are some times where you can get good use out of Valkyrie, but still, she's been needing a rework or a better buff for a long time. And at the top level of Clash of Clans, Town Hall 12, Town Hall 13, Town Hall 14, honestly, nobody uses Valkyries. Now we get to the Wizard. It's debatable if you call this really an offensive unit or a support unit. I think more people use it as a support unit. You know, back in the days, we used to have strategies like Go Wipe, where it was a big offensive unit. But nowadays, at Town Hall 12, Town Hall 13, Town Hall 14, it's really become a funnel troop, a cleanup troop, just because they do damage really fast and they're really cheap in troop capacity. Only 4 space makes it amazing. I'm gonna end up putting them in the B tier, and we're gonna put them above Baby Dragons because they're just more cost efficient for funneling. Probably the best funnel troop in the game, with the exception of the Sneaky Goblin. Next up on the support troop list is one of my favorites, the Lava Hound. So good on air attacks. You don't really use them that much on dragon attacks because the dragons are kind of tanky anyway, but the Lava Hound on Lava Loon attacks, easily what makes Lava Loon one of the best attacks in the game. When that Lava Hound tanks for your balloons, they can get in there, they can snipe the defenses. When the Lava Hound pops and the pups go everywhere and they pull all the red bombs, they pull the tornado trap. It's such good value. Using 1 or 2 of these on your Lava Loon attacks can make everything so much better. Next up, we take a look at the Golem. The Golem has been around for a long time, another staple in Clash, but is it really that good? Definitely doesn't deserve an S tier spot. Does it deserve an A tier spot? I don't think so. Honestly, there's a lot of ground attacks where people don't even need to rely on the Golem. They can just use the P.e.k.k.as to tank. They can just have the King tank for the Super Bowlers. The Golem does get good use on Suies. You know, putting the Golem in front of your Queen at the upper level can often allow your Queen to get a lot more value as you push into the base. So we're going to put him at the B tier. And we're going to put him up towards the front of the B tier as well. I think he deserves a spot up there because he does have some really good uses, especially in front of a Queen, especially in front of some wizards or even some super wizards. That Golem can get some really good tanking value. Looking at the Golem's little brother, the Ice Golem. Honestly, in my opinion, it's debatable whether or not the Ice Golem is better than the Lava Hound or not as the best support unit in the game. Well, I lied. The healer's the best support unit in the game. But between the Ice Hound and the Golem, I think I'm still gonna edge the Golem ahead a little bit. Ice Golem definitely deserves a spot in the A tier. Arguably better than his big brother, the Golem, because there's just more versatility, more usage you can get out of the Ice Golem. It's half the camp space, so you can literally use 2 Ice Golems instead of a normal Golem. And they have the freeze effect that can freeze lots of defenses. They can freeze defensive CC units. They can freeze enemy heroes, skeleton traps. They can freeze a town hall that fights back. There's so many different ways you can get good use out of an Ice Golem in multiple different armies. Now, the last tank that we're looking at is the Giant. The Giant been around since literally day 1 of Clash of Clans. Only 5 camp space makes him really versatile. You could just take 1, you could take 10, it's up to you. You can find ways to get use out of him, but honestly, at the upper level of Clash of Clans, Town Hall 12, Town Hall 13, Town Hall 14, they're just not super good. Maybe for farming, but in war attacks, you're probably not going to be bringing Giants. You're going to be using a Golem, you're going to be using an Ice Golem, you're going to be using P.e.k.k.as. The Giant really doesn't get that great value. Sometimes the pros like to use 1 or 2 Giants in front of their Queen when they don't want to use a whole Ice Golem. So we'll put him in the C tier, above the Minor, but still not super great in the current meta. Next up, we're looking at the Goblin. The Goblin, oh, the Goblin. An amazing farming troop. Gotta give him props where props are due. I don't think that's how the saying goes. Rip. You got to give credit where credit is due. The Goblin's good at farming. So maybe if this was a list particularly for farming, we'd put him like up here. But for war attacks in your clan war leagues, when you're trying to trophy push, you never use goblins. Ever. You have sneaky goblins. They're 17 times better, really 69 times better. In my opinion, if we're talking about war attacks, I think the Goblin might be the least used troop in the game. Next up, the Minion. We're almost to the end. The Minion is a really good troop. Basically, a cleanup troop. That's all anybody really uses them for. Sometimes you use them behind your queen when she's fighting a Hound to help her finish off some of the pups, but other than that, the Minion really is sometimes a funnel troop, mostly a cleanup troop on air attacks. So they're a staple in Clash of Clans. They're pretty fast on cleanup, much faster than Barbarians and Archers. In fact, the only cleanup troop that's faster is the Wizard. So we're going to place them on the B tier, but probably at the end of the B tier. They're a staple. You use them on Queen Charge Lalo. You use them on most air attacks in order to clean up all those trash buildings so you don't time fail. Last on the list, although there is another one on this list, the website doesn't have the Dragon Rider. We're going to talk about him last. But last here on the list of the troops they do have, one of my favorites, the HeadHunter. An amazing addition to Clash of Clans. They are such a strategic troop, only targeting enemy heroes until all the heroes are dead. But they are so squishy. I mean, they die to almost anything in like 2 or 3 shots. They are very squishy. You have to be very careful with how you use them. Very strategic. At the upper level of Clash of Clans, you see the pros usually try to use them and time it in a Warden ability. That way they can stay alive a lot longer than they normally would. But when you use them right, the HeadHunter is easily one of the best troops in the game, and they can make attacks very powerful because they basically are the best counter in the game to enemy defensive heroes. They deserve a spot in the S tier if you use them correctly. And most attacks these days at the upper level are gonna be using HeadHunters. You see them in almost every single army. Last but not least, the Dragon Rider. They're not on this website, so we're gonna have to just Photoshop it in. LOL, there he is. The Dragon Rider, an OP troop. When they added it to the game about half a year or so ago, it was a little broken, not gonna lie. They had to nerf it a few months ago, and they did. And even after the nerf, it is still a top tier troop. We're gonna put it in the S tier, right next to the HeadHunter on the right. It deserves a spot up there. There are so many different ways to use the Dragon Rider. Queen Charge Dragon Riders, probably one of the best attacks in the game at Town Hall 14. Hydra, where you use dragons and Dragon Riders in behind, easily another amazing attack. Almost every version of air spam or air attack can work even better with a Dragon Rider somehow in the mix. The fact that they are so tanky, almost as tanky as a Lava Hound. I mean, they're basically a dragon with the HP. They have more HP than the dragon, I think. And they only target defenses. I mean, they are such a good troop. You can even sneak them in to snipe certain defenses like an Eagle Artillery once your queen is walking past it and skipping an Eagle Artillery. Such a good troop. The Dragon Rider definitely deserves to be one of the 3 troops in the S tier category. And there's my list. Let me know what you guys think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? That's fine if you do. This is my list. These are my thoughts, mostly geared towards Town Hall 12s, 13s, and especially Town Hall 14s, and mostly geared towards war attacks. Not exactly meant for farming. Let me know what you guys think. Which troops would you switch around on this list? And if you guys want to see me do another one of these videos, particularly for super troops, or maybe for heroes, or for spells, or even siege machines, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for all the support. Don't forget to use code LexNos in the shop if you want to help support me. Have a great day, and I will see you in the next video.